Please welcome Kenneth Brewer, Joshua Brown, Ming Kit Chan, and Fernando Marin.
As young people living in the midst of one of the biggest business capitals in the world, it is great to be exposed to the business society and get the upper hand that some students don't have. As a DSY student, we learn to perform our lives. This evening, we are honored to be graduates of the Development School for Youth.
I live in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and my neighborhood is dangerous, and my school isn't safe either. There are a lot of things that happen in my neighborhood and my school that are very sad. I remember when a friend of mine was stabbed at school because he didn't respond the right way to a question someone had asked him. And recently, a mother of 9 was killed in my neighborhood due to bullets from gang violence that had absolutely nothing to do with her or her family. Events like this can affect the way a child grows. I've always been enthusiastic and yet depressed about my future. I want to be successful, but I do not know how. The DSY has put me in front of some very important people. We have the opportunity to go to CB Rich and Ellis, a real estate firm. During the workshop, Greg Tosco, the workshop leader, talked about a recent deal he negotiated with Condé Nast to lease space in One World Trade Center. Honestly, I only thought that real estate had only to do with buying houses. Greg also arranged for us to learn more about the building design and process of One World Trade Center from someone at the Port Authority. And we even got a chance to visit a viewing platform so that we can see the construction up close. I never thought that I would have that kind of opportunity.
At the age of 4, I was sent to Mexico because my parents didn't have enough money to support us. Since my childhood, nothing ever came easy. When I first joined the Fall Leadership Program, I felt like I couldn't do what others could. I felt a deep sense of failure. I began to think that maybe it was futile to keep attending, since all I was doing was taking up space, listening, but not actively participating. But after reading chapter 22 of Let's Develop by Fred Newman, in which he states that what's important is to actively talk because the conversation will build as you speak, even if you have nothing to say in the beginning, I realized that I was letting my worries of making mistakes and the circumstances of my childhood hold me back. This meant that I was underdeveloped, and I was able to work with it while attending DSY. And now that I know what I have to work with, I can continue to move forward.
I am from Hong Kong. I came to the United States 11 years ago. Ever since then, adapting into American society has been difficult. After graduating from high school, I felt like I was completely lost in life. I didn't know what to do, so I will literally just do nothing. I will go out for the night and sleep in the day. Until then, I realized how many more gray hair my mom had grown over the years. And at that point, I knew I have to do something about myself. When I got into Development School for Youth, I was shocked at first. Looking at the schedule of the DSY workshop, it was just way too many. However, because DSY demands responsibility from us, I slowly became responsible once again. As the workshop is coming to an end, the emotional feeling kicks in. Throughout the workshop, We are taught to respect each other, support each other, and also work together. As many of All-Star staff said, the most effective way to learn is to play.
Now please welcome our second group of performers this evening, LaChina Barnes, Irina Svirshanovskaya, Kripa Thapa, and Marilise Ortiz.
From age 9 to age 15, I performed as a dancer in the All-Star talent shows. And with every chance that I got, I became a better performer. But the All-Stars was more than just a talent show to me. It was a family. For years, I would compete against family, friends, and other kids on the block who also had a talent to share with their community. The more we performed with each other, the more familiar we got with one another. We were a family. And the All-Stars, it was our home. It was a place where children like me, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, we were able to go somewhere and be someone else. And now, I am part of the DSY. And this has also been a very important part of my performance. I am an African-American female, born and raised in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And there I was, in Elliott Management. Now, I don't know many African-American females from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, who got the opportunity to do that.
I came to New York City when I was 5 years old because of the large amount of anti-Semitism in Belarus. My parents also wanted to protect me and my sister from the radiation from Chernobyl so that we can lead better and healthier lives in America. When my family settled in the Bronx, I lived in a diverse community. I communicate with different people from different backgrounds, and I did not care about who they were. But one of the main difficulties growing up was identity issues. When I went to Brooklyn College, I did not fit in with the other Russian Jewish people. I would hear them say, "Oh, here is the ghetto girl coming." I felt like I could not find a connection with them, and I found myself fighting with people a lot. I developed and grew in DSY. I took risks and got out of my comfort zone. DSY was really hard, but I did not want to drop out of it because of my desire to get out of poverty and to achieve my version of the American dream. The program led me to think of doing a performance wherever I went. I have grown and developed because I do not blow situations out of proportion like I used to. I am not as reactive to people as I used to be, and I do not burn bridges anymore. I learned to face challenges now by thinking through situations and listening to the other person.
In this program, I have been put in uncomfortable situations, like going up to CEOs and executives and introducing myself. I felt inferior, like when I was younger and had to translate for my parents. But I welcomed the challenges of these uncomfortable situations. And through DSY, I learned that the moments a person feels uncomfortable are an opportunity to grow. I am not as afraid of doing new things, and I want my parents to see that. I hope I can inspire them to take risks themselves and also inspire others who may be feeling stuck in their lives.
In All Stars, I truly feel like I belong. All Stars was completely different than what I had imagined it would be. One day we're discussing the serious impact of slavery in America. The next day, we're playing a game that involved us to zip, zap, and zop. And then the next day, we're just running around being crazy in our professional outfits. The silly little games helped us interact with our peers and think in the moment. In All Stars, we, no matter what the color of our skin, work together to voice our opinions and accept each other for who we are and who we are becoming.
Welcome to the stage, Kathleen Baltazar, Cyrus Bandali, David Lopez, and Katrina Gampat.
At the age of 17, you would think life would be fun and relaxing. Wrong. Adulthood is just beginning. I live in Thomas Jefferson houses located in Spanish Harlem. I've lived there for about 12 years, and it's been a rough 12 years trying to avoid falling under the influence of drugs and trying to stay in school. Every morning, I wake up to a family that believes in me. And I want to be their hero and role model. But that faith I had in myself recently crumbled when I was denied by most of the colleges I applied to. I gave up in doing work in school because I said, why should I continue to do this if my light at the end of the road is burning out? I cried a lot. I was anxious to see the big envelopes of acceptance on my kitchen table, but instead, there was, again and again and again, the regular size envelope that said I was denied. I was depressed for some time, but as I continued to come to the DSY, I regained my hope and commitment to my dream of becoming a nurse. When we engaged with the lawyers from the top firms and corporate leaders and executives from the biggest companies in the world, it inspired me. It inspired me to keep my ideals and aim higher for my next step. I honestly wonder who'd I be not knowing the All-Stars. Here, I learned how to create change. I transformed here. And I see that no matter what challenges you face, what matters is the performance you put on to overcome it.
Well, I was done learning. In fact, I hated it. I thought that I was already smart enough, so why did I need to do any more work? I did just enough to get by. I was bored with school, so I didn't do as well as I could. You could call me the stupid smart kid. But through this program, I gained a thirst for development. And I learned it wasn't all about me. My peers also developed with me, and together we watched each other grow and change for the better as we performed on the corporate stage. We grew as individuals, and we grew as an ensemble. And I'm glad it's not over yet. Yes, this is a graduation, but this is not the last step. This is a recognition for what others have said is a long process, a lifelong process, to keep growing and developing and sharing it with our communities.
It wasn't until the 4th year of my college career that I joined the All-Stars. Needless to say, I'm the old guy in town, but better late than never. I joined some clubs in high school and college, but it was hard to find anything enriching that wasn't for the rich. I never understood why I grew up the way I did. I knew some history, but I didn't know any context. All-Stars gave me that context. They not only provided the history, but also showed us how it created the world we are living in today. All-Stars provided an environment where I could practice better social skills and not have to worry about people judging how I look or who I am or where I'm from. All-Stars taught us that not only do we develop, but we affect the development of all of our peers and all those around us. That's one of those lessons you think you know, but it's not until you really practice it that you get it. We have taken an active effort to help one another and have discovered that through helping each other grow, we all grow.
I have a story, but I didn't give myself a chance to tell it. Throughout the workshops, I've been the laid-back one who rarely speaks. I've always had that I'm too cool for school attitude. It wasn't my custom to always talk and ask questions. I'm used to being the girl that observes and listens. I remember the times when me and my mother were so down on our faces, I could always predict what was coming next. The way things was going in my life, everything made me so angry. I withdrew myself from the world and went into isolation. Although I learned to fake my charm, I showed people only a smile and vowed to let no one in. I didn't think people would understand where I'm coming from because I thought being hungry is something that a lot of people don't experience. I was a girl that knew the seasons of her struggles. I knew when to expect food and when not to. I knew when to run, when to hide, and when it was time to pack up to find yet another roof for our heads. My mom is a poor, single immigrant. I woke up to my reality, and I had to face the fact that I am poor too. I joined a program that exposed me to my life and life in general in a whole new way. I am proud to say that I'm more open than I've ever been. Everything we've done pushed us well beyond our limits, and I'm grateful that we've got a chance to make our little voices stronger.
Thank you.
Thank you.